Hi, Dr. Angela here with Garden Talk for Equal Ground Community Gardens in Brantford, and we're tackling cabbage in this one. Cabbage is very inexpensive, especially if it's grown in the garden, and it does grow quite well here as well in your garden boxes. Cabbage, what can I say? It grows really well here, and it's very inexpensive, and it's extremely healthy. Cabbage is extremely healthy. Probably coleslaw would be your best representation of cabbage in what we would tend to eat, particularly if you come from a maritime background or if you just sort of from Brantford, I think. Coleslaw is a big deal. But cabbage can be chopped and thrown in a pan with a little bit of water and almost stir-fried, steamed a little bit. Not too much, because as soon as you overcook cabbage, it's going to have kind of a mushy, sort of not so flavorful kind of thing going on, and it's not nearly as enjoyable, and it can actually make us have to add extra flavorings to our meal because it's almost like it steals the flavor from everything else. And so make sure you don't overcook your cabbage, whether you're doing it in the oven with rice and tomato sauce and cheese, or whether you're doing it on the stovetop just as is, and then adding it to foods as you need, or even taking it and using it as a dip, because steamed cabbage still has quite a few of its health properties, but that it's much easier to digest than the raw stuff. It's actually a lot tastier as well, and you can dip it in your ranch dip, or you can dip it in whatever it is you like to dip things in. Cabbage is great for the intestinal tissue. For people with weak digestion and weak stomachs, raw cabbage can actually be pretty hard on the stomach, and it could cause some bloating and some maybe a little bit of mild cramping. So if you are getting that, just make sure, maybe try to steam those cabbage leaves first and give that a try. Sauerkraut is another really great way to use cabbage. It's a great way to preserve cabbage as well, because it really doesn't freeze all that well. Sauerkraut is loaded with health properties. It's a fermented food. There's a lot of research out there about fermented foods. It's also sort of a fun thing to do, a fun activity. There's certainly lots of education around here about fermenting your foods. So maybe consider that if you've got a lot of cabbage kicking around.